Okay. So, which brings us to this month and the energies for this month. So I'm doing a different spread. I'm reverting back to the first spread that I started the channel with, okay? And I'm taking a break from the other spread mainly because I feel like this is you're going through some major adjustments. And, usually I start these readings with Capricorn. Capricorns are easy for me to connect with. And the energy is very simple. So this month I'm drawing cards basically, based on the major arcana that corresponds to one of the signs in the zodiac. So yours came out first, so I feel like there are important messages. So I want to do this so that we can connect, okay? So the first thing that I'm feeling here, this is a card about, thinking about the past, longing for the past, and as well, holding on to something. And I feel like it might be a value system. It might be a very, very strong belief of yours. And you're holding on to it very, very tightly. You're not compromising. You're standing your ground. You're defending, whatever it is that you're believing in. And I feel like in some way, some of you, it might have really hindered your overall spiritual development. It could also have hindered your relationship. This is innately, it's the number two. Two stands for relationship with ourselves and other people, and specifically like an individual. So I feel like, this is a card about holding our ground and not compromising. And even though you understand where the other person is coming from, but for some reason you know that it's not going to work. If they were to compromise, you wouldn't respect them. And if you were to compromise, they wouldn't respect you. So you both are at an impasse, but I feel like it's more on a spiritual, on a philosophical level where you can't really compromise. So it's sort of like, where do we go from here? If we're not in accordance with one another, if our lives are diverging, where we're not coming together, where do we go from here? And so I feel like a lot of you are looking back at a past situation, and you compromise is not really the problem. You're learning a lot from it. So I feel like you're trying to find somebody who is a lot more compatible with you, who is a lot more like-minded. So I feel like moving forward, you are going to try to sail on and try to find somebody who is a lot more like you, who is just as directed, okay? Who takes initiative, who is a lot more clear when it comes to, the way they think, the way they express themselves. So I feel like a lot of you are very honest. Fire signs in general are very, very honest. And I feel like, in a way, your honesty made change a situation drastically, okay? Holding on to basically what you value and being very honest and upfront about it and telling the other person, this is what I want and I'm not going to compromise. And so I feel like because of it, somebody had to fall away out of your life and there is no longer any contact, any communication, okay? So this is a card here about a rest and restoration. So I feel like there has been some type of a dead silence regarding a specific person that had to fall away from your life. And you're still thinking about it. You're still, looking at that person. And I feel like you have a great deal of respect for them. No matter what, there's still that sense of passion, chemistry, and just a very strong emotional connection. And I feel that you're going to be able to move on from this, okay? So they're saying something here that that was triggered. It's something like significant, and I feel like you might have been living with the person. There has been some major changes. I feel that came through for you guys last month. I feel like this was a situation where you couldn't exert control. Okay, this was a situation where no matter what you did, you couldn't change the outcome. You couldn't convince the other person to come over to your side, to see things from your point of view. And I feel like because the person is quite intelligent, very, very stubborn, very intelligent as well. And so whatever you said to them, they had a way to refute you. And whatever, evidence you try to give to them, they have something else to throw at you. So the relationship itself, I feel like there was a lot of energy put in mutually from both sides. There was also a lot of just lack of clarity, lack of compromise, okay? So I feel like you've met your match in that past relationship where somebody was just as, adamant about defending what they believed in, okay? And I also feel like because you couldn't exert control in this situation, it had to be left for good from your life. It was built on something that you know, it, once again, it's that sense of stability. It's that sense of comfort and familiarity. And it stayed for too long, and your growth was hindered. You were no longer learning. You were no longer progressing. You stayed in the relationship because it was comfortable. And it was also just, you know, stable for some of you. Okay. I feel like for some of you guys, it was very exciting, but the other person might not have been completely honest. And then the other group, where things were very stable, very status quo, very, very safe, but you couldn't exert the outcome that you wanted. And so things had to, you know, break down so that they can be rebuilt. And I'm also sensing for some of you, this might have been a work situation too, where the learning curve might have been very steep, and you might have questioned, you know, your competency level. You might have questioned whether or not you have the skills in order to perform well in this work environment. And I feel like it wasn't working for you. So energetically, it has nothing to do with your skill level. It's just energetically, this might not be the right work environment for you. So I feel like it had to go. And because of it, because of this sudden change, this really, really strong, you know, shakeup in a specific area in your life. Some of it is home, relationship, and for others, I feel it's work. Because of this shakeup, now your financial situation is a little bit wobbly. And like I said, I don't feel it's severe. For a lot of you, I don't feel it's severe, but it's definitely an adjustment. It's definitely a change up, and it's something very unexpected. So now you're trying to figure out, you know, what do I do? How do I rebuild myself? And literally for some of you, this is basically upgrading your skills so that you can, you know, have the competency, meet the competency level so that you can perform a specific task. Needing to upgrade your skills so that you can, you know, start looking around to see what other opportunities are available for you. And once again, I'm seeing that, you know, for some of you, this might have been a situation that was so strongly rooted. It's been around for so long. And oftentimes, you know, when something is just there and it exists for so long in our lives, it felt very security based. And when it's no longer in the picture, our identity is also challenged by it. Okay. So for example, if you were in a relationship for a really long time and, you know, structurally the relationship had to break down, now you're at a point where you're just like, who am I now? You know, who am I as an individual without the other person? And this is not like you, Aries. Normally you are your own person and you don't, you know, lose your sense of identity in a relationship. But I feel for some of you, this is something that has been, you know, in existence through a majority, a huge percentage or a huge chunk of your life for so long. And now these questions regarding, you know, identity, regarding values, regarding where I stand in the world, these things are coming through. And I feel like, you know, that sense of self-doubt, did I do the right thing? Those things are coming through as well. And this is coming through to remind you with this Wheel of Fortune here, you are on the right path. You had to make a difficult decision because it was no longer working for you. And now you are given new opportunities so you can, you know, start anew, okay, and implement whatever ideas you have, whatever projects you're thinking on that you've been procrastinating on. You're getting a big push to go ahead with it, okay? So don't ruminate. Just start acting. And in the process of acting, you're going to be okay. Financially, things will work out. And structurally, I feel like new opportunities will come in to fill in that vacuum that was left behind because of this major shakeup. So they're telling you, once again, not to worry about this. The sun will rise. You will be okay. And the opportunities will come in to fill in that void, okay? So don't fret over it. For some of you as well, I feel like there might have been a situation where just small minority of you, not all of you. There might have been a situation that I feel some of you might have taken for granted. You always expected it to be there. And so you might have let it slip away. You know, it might have changed overnight and you didn't monitor it. And so as a result of it, I feel like you might have some guilt here. I'm seeing guilt come out in the spread. You might have wondered if you did the right thing. You might have wondered if you held on too stubbornly. And so, once again, I feel like you did the right thing given the circumstances. and you needed to, you needed to defend your territory. You needed to make these hard decisions. And I feel like they were hard. It's not an easy decision here, but it's for your greater good because it's allowing you to finally exhale and, try to move on. And so with this Nine of Pentacles, it's a card about, no longer having that stability, resting on our laurels. We're going to have to go out and implement and begin anew. And it's a little bit scary. So once again, I feel like this is a major month for readjusting to a new situation. Like smoothing out that learning curve, starting over for many of you in new relationships. And I also feel as well, there's a lot of clarity coming through. So a lot of the times when we're immersed in a situation, so for example, dealing with combative bosses, dealing with combative relationship partners, when we're so immersed in it, we can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see that it's actually not healthy for us to be in the situation. And the more objective we are, the further we are emotionally and physically from something. When we detach ourselves, we can see it in its entirety. We could see where we were, siphoning our energy so heavily into a situation, pushing for a specific agenda, pushing for a specific outcome, that we might have, been so wrapped up in it that we couldn't see it clearly. And now with that sense of objectivity, once you are removed from it physically and even emotionally, you're able to see it for what it is. You're able to see that this was a situation that you couldn't control. This is a situation where it was safe, it was stagnant, it was stable, but it was hindering your growth. And you also feel this was a situation where I feel like financially, it was draining you. Okay. So moving forward, looking at this situation here with objectivity, with a lot of wisdom, and also just, making that hard decision. I feel like you are growing leaps and bounds. Okay. Like you're growing. And then mentally and emotionally, I said that your mind was in a different place. Your heart's in a different place. And that's why it's so hard to make this decision. And I feel that you're making a decision here with your mind, using rationality, using logic. And I feel like that's really going to serve you well. Okay. So rather than being hot-headed, I feel like you're looking at this and you're just like, I did the right thing. I try to reason it out with my head and I try to move away from it. And it is working for you because I feel like the energy is a lot calmer for this month. Okay. So one of the things here about, major crossroads, major milestones, and also major decisions that have been made coming on the tail end of that is don't question your resolve. Don't question the decision. Don't question yourself. Okay. Don't cycle through self-doubt. Don't, I guess just trust that you did the right thing given the options, given the circumstances, given the heat of the moment. So don't question it, okay? Because I feel like some of you are still thinking back, wondering if you did the right thing, wondering if you should try to communicate, wondering if you need to, clear the air with another person. I feel like it's done and over with, and there isn't anything left to be said, okay? And once again, we are here rebuilding our value system, rebuilding our wealth, starting from scratch. So I feel like this is a card about, waiting for the harvest, okay? Taking stock, figuring out, okay, so what's left now? What do I do now? And figuring out where your skills are, figuring out your assets, figuring out your weaknesses as well. So that moving forward, you have this, holistic approach as to how you can understand yourself better, understanding your motives, understanding your intentions, and understanding as well the direction that you need to head in so that you can rebuild your financial base, so that you can allow yourself to grab new opportunities when they come in. And you can also start, making better investment in yourself, but also like financial investment so that you can start generating wealth for yourself. Okay. So I feel like overall, whatever decision that was made for you, if hasn't been made yet in April, I feel that is coming through. And I am pretty sure that a lot of you know which direction to go. It's just getting your mind and your heart to align so that you feel very, very solid and good about this decision. But I feel that a lot of you are going to revert to, rationality to make this decision, which I feel is actually a really smart move. Okay. So financially, there's a little bit of a hiccup, but I feel that it is going to right itself. It's going to take some time. So don't expect miracles to happen overnight, but I do feel that it's going to take some time. Okay. So I hope that provides the information that you need. I feel like your energy was like the most, I guess like sporadic of all the signs coming through for this month, and that might explain why it came out first. But I do wish you the best, Aries. So I'm actually going to move on directly to your love reading. Okay.